Hey guys, what's up? So just another mini review or I guess update on the Groove wallet that I got about 2 months ago. So I guess this is like a 2 month update slash review slash I guess me using it and my thoughts and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm also gonna take it apart a little bit, kind of show you how it works and um, yeah, go from there. So I went to Europe about a couple weeks ago. Just came back from it, and I took this alongside traveling. And I had my cards in here, and I also had my lever tool in the wallet itself. So going through TSA, I actually ran into no trouble at all. Never was pulled over. Never was asked anything about my wallet. Never no red flags came up or anything like that. So at least I can say from my experience going through I think 6, 7 different airports when I was in Europe and coming back from Europe to the United States and all of that, never had any issues with this combination right here. So I know some people may take issues with it. So don't use me as like a perfect example of you're not that the TSA isn't gonna pull you over. But so far, at least from my experience, they never gave me any issues or hassle about carrying this and the Groove wallet. If they do give you some issues, like the lever tool itself doesn't have any sharp edges except for maybe this part right here, or this pointy part. It's kind of pointy, but it's not like a blade or anything, so you should be fine. I mean, if they do confiscate this, it's like only $30, so it's not like a huge loss. But at least from my experience, none of the airport security gave me any issues. So yeah, just want to update you on that. Now, this wallet, yeah, took with me to Europe, used it, carried it around, even dropped it, and it's worked okay. So I was at a club, and I guess I was getting pocket checked, and I dropped my wallet, and it landed, I think, like this on concrete, and so there's a bit of damage right here. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on camera. There's a bit of like I guess a dent and a bit of scruffing right there, and the wallet had like a little bit of issues when I went up like this. It kind of like hung up, didn't close properly. So that's one thing to keep in mind is if you drop this thing, it might not work as well. So when I got home, I had my tools. I was finally able to open it up and inspect the inside, and I saw a little bit of like wear on the internals a little bit. Maybe that's from the drop, or maybe it's just from use. I'm not too sure, but I was able to kind of like file it, or like I guess got rid of some excess material, and it just works just fine now. So um, let me go ahead and show you that. I don't know how many times I've done this. Probably at least 1,000 times in the last month or so. So the metal mechanism on the inside does wear out, and I think let me check on what size screw this takes. Okay, so I think it's a T5. So I think if you're gonna take this apart, you need a T5. So I'm going to just go ahead and take out some of the screws and show you the internals and how this thing works. Actually, let me take off this first. So it's still pretty simple to take apart. It's only 6 different torque screws, I believe, and they are Loctited. So I don't think these screws are going to back out on their own, which is nice. So here's a money clip, pocket clip coming right off. It's a nice piece of metal. It's nice. One of the nicer pocket clips. I think I like it better than my craft wallet, and I like it better than the Ridge wallet. Definitely a lot nicer. It's got a decent ramp to it, so you can slide cards in and out easily, and it's not too stiff, so it doesn't like catch on your cards, or like it's would rip your cards apart if you kind of slide cash in or out. It's really nice. That's one thing I really like about the wallet is the money clip here. It's a really nice construction. And then just 2 more screws on each side. I'm just gonna put them here. I have like a magnetic tray. Not too sure if these are actually metal, or the screws are if they're aluminum or steel. I think they're steel because they are catching on the tray. Okay. All right. So now that I got the screws out, you can kind of slide this thing off. I think you have to do it when it's closed. So, all right, here's the internals. All right. So you can see that little rubber thing. So this rubber thing right here, it's supposed to kind of catch your cards. So if you were to put like a card in right here, it's supposed to kind of catch on that card and keep the cards from dropping back into your wallet. So it's just friction. It just kind of holds your cards through friction. And then there, you got this little lever right here that rides on the actual faceplate, and I think it's spring loaded because it does come down on its own. Oops. And this is just like a plastic like spacer here, so that goes there. And then you got the little lip that kind of closes and moves along a track. It glides along a track on the lid. I'll show you the lid in a second, but as the lid slides up, this glides along a track and then opens it up. So here's the lid, and here's the other part of the lid. It's got this this thing right here, which will come off if you fidget with it a little bit, like so. So this right here is the track that rides along. So what I had issues with, maybe when I dropped my wallet, as you can kind of see, there's a little bit of a ding here, and this I think forced the little track nub, kind of like punctured, or I guess bent the metal here a little bit along the track, and so it wasn't as smooth, and I think that's what was causing the wallet to kind of lock up. There's another nub down here. This nub is for the little lever that goes up and down. So, but yeah, I was able to shave off a little bit of metal right here, and once I shaved that off, the wallet was just working just fine. So yeah, that I dropped it from about, I guess, shoulder height or about chest height, so it was a pretty big drop, and my wallet was full of stuff. Had like the lever in it, had like 5 cards in it, so it was a bit of weight to it. So at least I think it was like maybe 3 ounces, 4 ounces, I forget. But yeah, when I dropped it, it was a huge clack, on the cement. But yeah, after that, when I took it home, redid the metal portion of it. It works just fine. Everything else in here seems okay, so nothing against that. I'm not gonna take this apart because there's no point in taking that little lever apart. But yeah, very simple construction. And then you got these other spacers here. Not too sure what they do. I assume these spacers are just there to kind of help the mechanism slide and not contact the metal and wear it out. That's what I assume it's for. And I kind of just screwed that up, so let me put this back in. Okay, yeah. But yeah, pretty simple. And I think, oh, it's not a spring, but I think down here is a magnet. So maybe it just attracts it. I'm not too sure how this lever, what's making this lever come back on its own. Either a spring or there's a magnet down here that's causing it to like do that. But if you know, I guess we can just test that theory out. Okay, yeah, I think it is a magnet because my screw bits are actually being sucked in. So that's pretty clever, actually. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know this wallet had a magnet in it. As you can kind of see, my steel driver bit here is just attaching to this. So it's not a spring, I guess. It is a magnet, but this piece right here feels like nylon or plastic. And so I think underneath here, there's probably another magnet. So there's probably 2 magnets that attract each other. Because this piece that's riding up and down, it's plastic. It's not metal. So I assume underneath this lever here, there's another magnet or a piece of metal that's allowing the magnet to kind of attract it and pull it down. So it's pretty clever. didn't think about that type of design. Mostly, it's usually when a wallet has this, it's usually like some sort of spring that does that. So let's go ahead and put this back together. If I can remember how to do that. I think this just goes on here. Really simple. So this is the like the track it rides on when it opens up like that. Yeah, pretty simple there. And let's put that in. Okay. But yeah, so one of my thoughts on it, after using it for about 2 months, I think I do really do like the wallet. I think if they came out with a version 2, it may even improve a bit. Like the only hiccup, like I said, that I had was the fact that I dropped it and it kind of dislodged itself or kind of damaged something. But even dropping it from chest height, with with it being loaded, it took very minimal damage, at least on the outside. And the rest of the wallet, the anodizing is pretty decent. So like, there's a little bit of chips here and there, very small, very minor. But the anodizing has held up pretty well, and I got the matte black one, so working pretty well, I want to say. It kind of does suck though if you have dry hands. Like I mentioned in my reviews, if you have dry hands, sometimes it's kind of annoying to push up the mechanism to push your card out. But it helps if you put your thumb down here and just push up on it instead, rather than trying from the middle sometimes. At least that's how I've kind of done it when I have dry hands, or or dry hands or super wet hands, because obviously you have too much water in your hand. This thing becomes pretty difficult to operate. But yeah, so pretty good wallet. I've kept it in my front pocket most of the time, majority of the time, and it does feel a little hefty, and I think that's just because I'm using that lever tool. And in terms of the lever tool, I've actually used it a lot, surprisingly, as a bottle opener. When I was in Europe, when I order a Coke or some beer, this was really handy to just use it as a bottle opener right in the middle right here. I don't even use this part. I think you can open the bottle with either this thing in the middle or the side thing. I always use the middle one to kind of just lift it up. Mainly because when I'm traveling, I can't take my Leatherman with me that I usually have on my keys, and I don't have a knife or anything else. So that was pretty handy. And I sometimes can kind of use this as a blade a little bit. So I bought some like shirts and stuff like that. They come with the tag and that little like zip tie thingy, which kind of push that zip tie thing against this and then kind of snap the zip tie off, and that was kind of handy. So yeah, the tool has its purpose and has its usage. I haven't really used it as a screwdriver much or as a bit driver. Speaking of which, I think these bits fit right in. Nope, this is just too big for these bits. So these are supposed to be bit drivers, but I forget what size they're supposed to fit. Unfortunately, I don't think this fits any of my bits I have from my iFixit kit, unfortunately. And that's just small minor things, not a huge deal. But yeah, overall, like I think this has been a pretty like great combo together, and yeah, like unfortunately the only minus part is that this thing just kind of slides back in on its own. It doesn't come out. But yeah, if you're not if you only got like 5 or 4 cards that you're using and you have extra space, yeah, try picking one of these up, put it in there, and it works really well. It does add a bit of weight, but I think it's just kind of a whole kind of clever packaging altogether. I think maybe Groove Life should come up with their own like utility tool that goes along with their wallet. And at least from my experience, TSA hasn't given me any issues about this. So yeah, I plan on just using this. Just want to give you a update on it and kind of like a inside look in case you were curious as to what this looks like on the inside and how it works. But yeah, very simple wallet, works well. As I mentioned in my review, a little flimsy sometimes, but it did hold up from a drop. Granted, the drop did mess with this function a little bit. If you can open it up and maybe oil it or something like that, or in my case, I had to shave off a little bit of the metal that was bent, and it works fine after that. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys, and see you guys next time.